Remind me again why we didn't just take the teleporter, Lyra muttered. You'd think being a bounty hunter on a dungeon world would mean constantly running down marks, but the truth was we spent even more time as mercenaries and run-of-the-mill adventurers. 7 years after System Advent, there was no shortage of monsters, and the number of worthwhile bounties that required a master class to chase down was low, which explained why we were packed into the converted military transport truck like sardines. The smell of unwashed bodies sweltering in armor filled the compartment and made it clear that few humans bothered investing in a cleanse spell. The Movana jostled against my shoulder as the truck rocked over yet another rut. The poor condition of the road was typical outside of settlements and safe zones, even with borders between the territories largely settled these days. I shrugged, pushing the pale-skinned elf back upright with a slight nudge. The contract specified keeping a low profile as much as possible. It's just a field boss battle. We're not even here for the monsters, just keeping the galactics in line. Left unsaid was the other half of the job, and the real reason the organized alliance of human military forces dared bring in an outsider like me. An oracle's prediction had calculated that an infiltrator aimed to cause trouble during today's fight. The wording of the augury and subsequent shop inquiries hinted that the target could be found among the snipers and other long-range damage specialists, so that's where my assignment started. "We don't need a babysitter." The interjection came from a slightly pudgy and balding middle-aged man sitting opposite me in the troop bay. I raised an eyebrow in response. Good, because I hate babysitting. "Elf lover." The man spat at my feet and leaned back, crossing his arms and wrinkling his nose in disgust. It seemed plenty of folks still weren't happy to see aliens on Earth, regardless of the political reality where they were allies as often as enemies. Annoyed, I drummed my fingers over the holsters that rested on either side of my hips. Then a snort of laughter came from the Movana beside me as she looked the man up and down dismissively. "You're lucky Hal's girlfriend is busy shopping. I think you're just jealous." The man looked between Lyra and me with confusion until I finally realized that he thought we were together. Sliding my hands away from my weapons, I just chuckled with a shake of my head. The woman beside the man jabbed an elbow into his side and whispered in his ear. Even with keen senses boosting my hearing, I failed to catch the muffled conversation over the hum of the transport's engines, but I could guess the subject from the way his head jerked back around to stare at me wide-eyed. Beside me, Lyra shifted just enough to glare in my direction, though her gaze lacked any real animosity. Unlike the other half-dozen eclectic humans stuffed back here, who stared at me with emotions ranging from suspicion to fear. Humans with a master class were still rare enough that rumors still spread, despite my efforts to remain in the shadows. My reputation had grown, and I still hadn't figured out how I felt about that.